If you have a 2025 Dacia Spring like this one, there are 3 common problems you might encounter, and this is how to fix them. I've had this car for about 3 months now, covered just over 800 miles in it in that time, and on the whole it has been a fairly uneventful ownership experience. However, there have been 3 things that were a little bit of an issue that I had to either speak to the dealer about or sort out myself. And I think from what I've read on like owners groups on Facebook and stuff like that, it seemed to be something that affect quite a lot of Spring owners. Therefore, I think if you have one of these or you're thinking about buying one, there could be issues that it could benefit you being aware of and being aware of how to fix them. The first one then is problems with the My Dacia app. So I guess like a lot of EVs and a lot of modern cars in general, Dacia have an app that you can use for the extreme model only, I believe, where you can monitor how much range is left in the car. You can activate the climate control remotely, so you can precondition the car. You can set timers so that if you are charging on a charger that doesn't have sort of intelligent or timer capability, you can set that up in the app for the car, so it tells the charger when it wants to charge if you want to use off-peak tariffs. And you can tell it to precondition for you so that it's ready for you leaving in the morning. Fairly basic features that a lot of EVs have, and ones that I think quite a lot of people now say they couldn't live without. And that wasn't working for this car when I took delivery of it. Now, you could say that the onus would be on the supplying dealer to go through that handover and make sure all that stuff's working and that you're happy. However, probably as a side effect of buying one of the cheapest pre-registered cars in the country at the time, handover wasn't really part of the spec, I don't think. So it was literally a case of here's your keys, see you later, not our problem. Now, I know you won't get that at all dealers, and in fact you could insist on having more service than that, but I wasn't really bothered. In the car, off I went. However, I then realised when I got home that the app wouldn't connect to the car. So there are steps you take in the car to connect to your My Dacia account, which is the same account that you use for the app. And every time I tried to log in, it would just tell me that an unexpected error had occurred and that therefore I couldn't link the car with the app. It just wouldn't work. And again, I saw on like owners groups and stuff like that, a lot of people saying the same thing. They just couldn't get it to work at all, and they were having to book in with the dealer and have them look at it and all that stuff. It turns out that the most likely resolution to that problem is to do a factory reset on the display in the car. Now, I'm just going to show you how to do that, and that will, I'm not actually going to do it, but I'm going to show you where the option lives in the menu, and that will solve this problem. It will result in you being able to sign in and connect to the app, and everything will work absolutely as it should. I don't know if it's a side effect of this being a pre-registered car that sat around for a little bit and whatever, wasn't set up properly in the first instance, and maybe if it was a brand new one and the dealer went through a proper handover with you, that would work and it'd be fine. Or it's some kind of software problem that means that the way it comes from the factory, it doesn't work for some reason. Carrying out that factory reset seems to sort it out. The app works absolutely fine now. It's not the best app in the world. It is, I'm pretty sure it is the My Renault app, just reskinned with a Dacia logo, which obviously makes a lot of sense. But it does do the job. All those features that I mentioned are in there and now work, now that I've done that factory reset. The second problem then was with the built-in sat-nav. So the Extreme model has navigation built in. You can also connect your phone and use like Google Maps, Waze, or anything like that, using like Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, and most people will choose to do that. But there is actually built-in navigation in the car. And every time I went to launch that, and I think I actually did that in a previous video, if I find the footage of me doing that, I'll put it in here, you can see what happens, but it would come up with an error just saying device ID not configured. And it wouldn't start, the navigation software wouldn't start and just wasn't working. Again, I can see quite a lot of people saying that they suffer from this problem, that the navigation just isn't working and no amount of fiddling they do with it, no amount of factory reset and none of that kind of stuff seems to be making any difference. Now, this is actually a problem it needs to go to the dealer for. So I went into the dealer with this for both this problem and the third thing we're going to talk about. And actually, there is like a technical service bulletin for the navigation. They need to carry out an update in order to make it work properly. It's a known problem, and your Renault dealer should be able to find information about that on the technical portal that they have, with all the information about common problems, things that can go wrong. And it literally is a case of carrying out that software update, and then the navigation works absolutely as expected. So here you can see it now launches, it now works, and it is all good. I haven't actually tried it out yet to see if it's any good, but I'm satisfied that it does work, and it now is as it should be. So that's a good result. And actually, I normally loathe going to main dealers for work, like warranty work and stuff, because they're always really wriggly and trying hard to, oh, well, if we don't find anything wrong, there'll be a diagnostic charge and all that lovely stuff they get up to. But in fairness to Virtue Renault in Gloucester, it was all very straightforward. It was quite a long wait for an appointment with them, but in it went. It got sorted the same day. And the other problem that we're going to talk about was kind of sorted, but I'll talk about that more in a minute. But all in all, they were good to deal with, and they actually did what they were asked to do with minimal amount of fuss, which is always good. And now, the third problem then, and this is one I've seen quite a few people talking about as well, is a bit of a strange one. So it's a problem with the back seat. So I have the back seat folded down in this quite a lot. It kind of doubles up as a van and moving parts around in it and all that kind of stuff. When I'm going a bit further maybe than my ENV 200 will manage, I use this for shifting little things about, and it is pretty good at it. There's actually a surprising amount of room in here with the seats folded down. However, the problem comes when you go to fold the seats back up. And what happens is the seat only actually latches in place on one side. Now, I actually noticed when I was driving this home from the dealership that at one point I went over a bump in the road and the seat back fell down, and I didn't really think anything of it at the time because, well, I don't really think this car had very much of a PDI. The fact that there was still all the plastic on everything, and, that it's had a minimal amount of prep before it's been handed over to me. And therefore, maybe, I just hadn't clicked it in properly. Fine. But as it turns out, it wouldn't latch into place. So on one side, it just wouldn't latch in. It just won't work at all. And I took it into the dealer, and they had a look at it, and they said they'd fixed it. They said they'd carried out a recall on it, which I thought was quite interesting. But then, shortly after that, I had the back seat folded down again because I was moving an e-bike around, which you'll probably see quite shortly. And when I went to put it back up, it wouldn't click into place again. It was fixed when I left the dealer. Everything was fine. But after having it folded down again for a little bit and then going to put it back up, it was broken again. And that's not ideal. So before phoning up the dealer and getting it booked in and whatever, I thought, well, if they said there was a recall for this, there's probably some information about it on Renault's systems. And I have access as an independent garage to the technical data that Renault can offer. And it's really, really useful when you're fixing Zoes and stuff like that, right? Having access to the real, genuine Renault workshop stuff and procedures is really good, really important. So I had a look, had a browse around, and actually found this technical bulletin. And basically what it says is there is, it's slightly out of tolerance, the bit of the seat that actually controls it folding up and down. So not the latch itself, but the bit lower down. And I'll show you the bit I'm talking about in a moment. And basically the fix, and what the dealer will do if you take it in, is just press quite hard on the bottom corner of the seat, and then it folds back in and it latches in place. I'm not sure how I feel about that being a fix for the problem, but I will show you what I mean in a sec. So the issue then is, apparently, according to the Renault technical bulletin, with this piece in here, there, I don't know how easily you'll be able to see, but there's like a plastic sleeve that apparently isn't quite big enough and causes it to pop out of shape, which means that when you go to fold the seat back up, it doesn't latch properly. Now, I'm sure when I go to do it now, it'll be absolutely fine. Which it is. It is absolutely fine. However, Renault's fix for the problem is basically on whatever side isn't working. So in my case it was this side that wasn't working, but it can be either, and certainly their example videos showed it being this side. But basically in this corner here, you just need to press quite hard on there. It reseats this properly, and then it will close and latch as expected. So if you're having the problem with your back seat not latching properly, just fold it back down like this, press hard in the corner where it is not working properly, and then it should latch in and will work for you. And basically, if you go to the dealer with this problem, that is all they're going to do for you. If they recognise that it's manufactured wrong, and they say it's fixed for vehicles built after December 2024, so probably if you're taking delivery of a brand new Spring, well, I don't know how many will be around that were been built earlier. I imagine most of these pre-reg ones have been built way before then, and they've been sitting around. I don't know about brand new ones. Certainly if it's a factory order, you're going to get a new one, right, that probably doesn't have this problem. But if it's an improved part, surely the fix could be to install that improved part, not just push on the seat a bit harder. I'm not sure. Anyway, that was 3 common problems with the Dacia Spring and how I fixed them. So I think there's 2 there that you can just fix yourself, and 1 that probably will need a visit to the dealer. I do hope if you've got a Spring and you had one of these annoying little issues with it, that has helped you out. I'd love to hear what you think in the comments. I'd love to hear if you think that fix for the back seat is valid or not, or whether Renault Dacia should be doing a little bit more on that. I certainly feel like they should be doing a little bit more, and telling you just to push it into place, it seems a bit weak to me. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.